Okay, so in honor of Halloween coming up, today we are going to talk about spooky, creepy books. On this list, I'm not going to have very many outright horror books. We're not going to have like, this is going to give you nightmare. I guess it depends on what your threshold is. I don't know. They're not going to be terrifying. I don't read a ton of thriller and horror, but of what I've read, I don't think I've ever actually been scared while reading, so maybe my threshold is high, but I really love books that just have a creepy tone and environment to it. So that's what I'm going to be recommending. If you want some creep, stick around. In the books, not me. But before we get into the list, a shout out to today's sponsor, Squarespace. From websites to online stores to marketing tools to analytics, Squarespace is an all-in-one platform that helps you to build your website and grow your business. But we'll talk more about them at the end of the video. First book is going to be a short story, so I'm already a liar. First short story is going to be The Yellow Wallpaper. I think this is only 16 pages long. You should definitely read it. It'll take so little of your time, and it's so great. So this is a story about a woman who is diagnosed with some mental health issues. I don't think it's ever specified in the book. And her treatment issued by a doctor is to have self-isolation. She has to sit in an attic with yellow wallpaper, and she can't hang out with other people. She can't really have conversations outside of her caretaker, who happens to be her husband. She isn't allowed to draw, read, write, have any sort of artistic ability or any sort of outlet. She just gets to sit and stare at wallpaper, and it is her mental descent because of this treatment. I love this book because it's creepy the whole way through, and I love the way it ends, but I also love this book for the impact it had. This is a treatment that doctors genuinely used to diagnose when people had mental health issues, and it generally did a lot worse than it did help. And this author, this short story was inspired by her personal experience of being diagnosed and treated this way and how it made her worse. And it actually had a great impact where certain doctors, not all doctors, read this and then stopped treating people this way because of it. So it's really great for the actual impact it had on society, but it's also just standalone, a really creepy, great story, and highly recommend. Next book, if you want just a little bit of creep vibes, And Then There Were None, is an Agatha Christie book, and it's about 10 people put off into an island for different reasons. They've been put into this island, and then once they get there, they find out that they're actually just going to be picked off one by one, and basically they've all done something bad, and someone has decided that they're going to do justice by killing them all, but it's all wrapped around this old nursery rhyme about 10 little soldier boys and how they're all picked off one by one for in different ways, and then that rhyme is like haunting them on this island. It keeps playing, and then the people are being picked off in ways that match the rhyme, and it's so good. It was really great. It was really engaging, and I was on the edge of my seat, and it had that little creep factor because of that rhyme that tied everything together. It was really good. Next one is probably one that you've heard me mention a couple times, and it's called Rebecca. This is a classic Gothic thriller, think domestic thriller. I actually am also going to recommend My Cousin Rachel, which I'm still currently reading, so I can't guarantee it's going to have a great ending, but I will have finished it by the time you get to this video, at least. Watch my reading vlogs to find out what I thought about the ending. I am coming to love this author's work, Daphne du Maurier. I love Gothic fiction in general, whether it be Gothic thriller, Gothic horror, or even just Gothic contemporary literary fiction. I just love Gothic books. Gothic fiction has this very creepy feel to it. It has these undertones that are very unsettling, and I think that this author is a master at taking these simple scenarios, but making every element of them unsettling. And that's what I want, man. That's what I want. I love it so much. It's all wrapped around these families that seem a little bit odd, and it's wrapped around these big estates and mansions that have like hidden areas and that don't seem quite right and might be a little bit haunted, but probably not. And I love Gothic fiction so much. I think that this author is incredible. Little Secrets is another one that would be more on the mild side. If you don't really like anything too spooky, this will be a good one for you. This actually starts off with a child abduction, so if you're not into that, probably don't. Who's into that? If that would be sensitive to you, probably don't read this because it is a big focus of the book. But it's about this woman whose son is taken, and then her whole life basically crumbles because of it, understandably so. And she's just still bent on finding him even after the police investigation runs dry. It's a domestic thriller, which automatically means there are boring parts. I don't know why that's the case for so many domestic thrillers, but I loved the beginning and I loved the ending. It was very unsettling and very, maybe creepy isn't the right word, but unsettling works. Next book on the list is going to be Pet Sematary. So I love this book. It's a deep exploration of grief with horror as kind of the tool to explore that, and I love this book so much. That said, I've recommended this a lot, and a lot of people come back saying, it was pretty predictable. Okay, so yes, know that going in. Yeah, it's going to be predictable, but that's not really the point of this book. It's not meant to surprise you. It's supposed to be a deep exploration of real life stuff, and then at the end, it actually turns horror. So keep that in mind. It's a very slow build, it's a very character build, and it's a very nuanced, interesting discussion with very much horror at the end. It's a really creepy ending, and it's just also a really meaningful book, so I highly recommend it. Oh, and the focus around this whole thing is death, and it does explore it in pretty difficult ways. Next is going to be H.P. Lovecraft. I'm fairly new to Lovecraft's work, but I've been reading some of his short stories, and if you want unsettling vibes, creepy undertones, man, Lovecraft can deliver. In his short stories, he's able to create an environment and set a tone that overall just feels very uncomfortable, and nothing really feels safe in so few words, and I love that. And then I found that pretty much every short story that I've read so far has a really satisfying payoff. So you get these creepy, unsettling, uncomfortable vibes and feelings from it throughout the entire thing, and then at the end it's all worth it. It delivers. They deliver, and I love it. Last book on this list is going to be The Troop. This is a horror novel about a group of Boy Scouts that get stuck on this island, and on this island there is a parasite. This parasite is going to get into their bodies through any sort of cut that they have. And this parasite, what it does is it eats and eats and eats and eats and eats until you are basically starving to death, and the person kind of goes crazy with this hunger and they'll do anything to eat anything. Oh, also it reproduces like mad, so it just keeps filling you to eat you. It's actually really cool. There's a lot of gross scenes in it. There's also, I think, 3 scenes of animal cruelty, which when they came up, I would just skim those pages so that I can move on to the story. But I know several people have DNF'd because of those scenes, and I don't blame them. They're not happy scenes, obviously. But the parasite, I enjoyed reading about so much, which is a weird thing to say because it is very gross. But oh my gosh, I just thought it was such an interesting concept, and I loved the tension in this book that these kids had to face as they are trying to deal with this very upsetting scenario they're in, but they have to deal with it calmly, because if they get into fights, then they're now in danger if they have any sort of cut, or even if they don't get into a fight, if they just, I don't know, scuff something, then they could potentially be infected. And then what happens when people among your group are infected? What do? Now you have this difficult decision of, do we just chuck you out and shucks, you're dead? Or do we try to hope that you won't try to kill us soon if you do get infected? It's such an interesting concept, and I really enjoyed the execution of this so much. And now that you've got your list, an ad.
Come play with us forever at squarespace.com, where you can build your own website with pre-made templates, social sharing, and push emails for all that subscribe. If you're a narrator of horror stories, like I am, you can have audio blocks for samples, or images for all your selfies. With incredible customer care like they have, you'd be a fool not to sign up. Link in the description. Go sign up now.
So there you go. That's my recommendations of some books that are very unsettling. I would love your recommendations. What kind of environmentally unsettling books can you recommend to me? I don't think I love horror that's just like full on horror. I think I like undertones a lot more, I'm learning. So do you have recommendations for me in that category? Have you read any of these books and would you like to discuss them with me more? I post videos every Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.